Hello, Vincent.
Hi, what did you name this stream? Let's talk about pushing Christmas out of the fucking public square.
Okay, that's what you want the title to be.
Well, yeah, sure.
And you say that as a Jehovah's Witness.
No, I say that as a pagan. So let me discuss what happened in my therapy because I got into a big fight with the group therapist. This was in group therapy. So she's made it clear. I've discussed about my religious abuse and stuff like that in group therapy, and she's made it clear that it's a little too political to discuss.
What is
So
political?
certain kinds of religious abuse or religious persecution is too political for group. It's just, we can't really discuss that. So then in the same breath, she made Christmas the theme of the group. So I got into a fight with her and I said, this is supposed to be a secular space, and I'm not allowed to talk about anti-pagan persecution, but you're allowed to make your religious holiday the theme of the group. So I got into a fight with her and I left, and then I thought, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to throw me out. I'm going to have to find a new therapist, all this other kind of stuff. So I wrote them an email and I said, I shouldn't be made to feel as though I did anything wrong. I said that she's made it clear. I've tried to talk about anti-pagan persecution before, and I said, if I were a Jew and I were concerned about anti-Semitism, I would never be silenced. The only reason that I'm being silenced is because I'm not from a mainstream religion. If I were a Muslim in group and I said I'm fearful of Islamophobia and started talking about instances of Islamophobia, then I would not be silenced. But the only reason I'm being silenced is because the people who are anti-pagan are Christians, Muslims, and Jews, and they have special privileges, and obviously by the fact that in a secular environment, this monotheistic woman feels as though she can silence me and then make her religion the theme of the group. And, I wrote to them and I talked to them about monotheist privilege, basically, thinking that just assuming that everyone's a Christian and just assuming that everyone's okay with holidays. Well, yes, I had to deal with this as a Jehovah's Witness, in that it's harder being a Jehovah's Witness, I think, because you're such a small minority. And Jehovah's Witnesses aren't anti-Christian because Christianity is anti-pagan. They're anti-Christian because they're anti-pagan. And so it's harder for them to really push this idea like Jews do. Okay, so Jews, Jews are always blamed. I know that Jews have disproportionately been part of getting Christmas celebrations and Christmas stuff removed, because they just feel as though it's, honestly, and it's true, it's a violation of church and state, and it's the acceptance of one religion over another. And if they couldn't get it removed, they had Judaism added to it. But that just opens up another problem, because then you have to add Islam and Hinduism and Shintoism. And, Jews are such a small percentage of the population. So why don't other small percentages of people get their thing in? Why not Satanists? So what? Jews are, 2% of America? Like, if they get something, I'm sure that 2% of America is Satanist. There's a lot of Satanists, maybe 1% is Satanist. You know what I mean? Why? Because Jews are 2% and Satanists are 1%. They don't get a statue. It opens up all these problems. And really, there should be no holidays, at all. But the point is that we've reached this point where there's enough non-Christians for us to start pushing back. Now, I, as a pagan, would say that Christianity is an anti-pagan religion. And Jesus was anti-pagan, and I should not have to be reminded of genocides against pagans and all these other kind of stuff because you want to hang up a wreath. You know what I mean? I shouldn't be reminded of that. Now, I feel as though in the public square, Muslims are not that very good about this. I wish Muslims in public schools were more pushy about keeping Christianity out. But the problem is their agenda is to get Islam in, so they would rather just add Islam rather than expel Christianity from the public square. And so they're not very helpful. I don't think they're very principled. Um, well, okay, the Jewish way was to try to expel Christianity from the public square and make everything secular, whereas the Muslim way is to just add their holidays to because Muslims want their holidays for school and they want them to be recognized and all this other kind of stuff. And it's just, they're not very useful for secularizing culture. But the thing is that I wish they would start pushing for the secularization of culture. But the thing is that it's going to have to be the pagans and the atheists that push for this, and this expulsion of Christianity from the public square, and most definitely in settings where it shouldn't be allowed, like in a secular a therapy session or in schools, in secular schools and things like that. If you can't stop Macy's from hanging up Christmas decorations, but you can make them feel as though they are doing something wrong. You can put public pressure on them, and you can write to them. And the idea that only a few people can't do anything is not true, because look, there's only a few Jews, and look what they've done in order to secularize. Like, Jews were really responsible for secular Christmas songs, songs without Jesus in it, and they were very big in that. If you look at all of the secular Christmas songs in America, they're all written by Jews. And also like pushing the Ten Commandments out of courts was a lot of them, and they're very much into a lot of freedom from religion stuff. And so
What, the Jews pushing out the Ten Commandments? I guess
yeah,
that would be secular Jews.
yes, but also that the Ten Commandments are for them and not for Gentiles. The Seven Commandments are for us.
Yes. Well, what I would do under secular Quranism with American characteristics is because so many Jews are going to be struck off the register of Jews, that I think instead of everybody celebrating their festivals, they would just celebrate the Jewish festivals, which are more fun anyway, I think. And then so most people can just sort of stop being Jewish, but still celebrate the Jewish festivals, which are quite useful because they're the kind of in keeping with the season, like Hanukkah. It's sort of a kind of end of year thing, and then you have Sukkot, and for the autumnal in tent thing. So and Passover, only Jews celebrate, but really it's kind of getting the Jewish housewives to spring clean their homes. But the thing about these Jewish festivals is that they are in keeping with the seasons, and I think and they're more fun, and then it would be new for everyone really.
Well, I mean, but Jewish festivals are for Jews. They're not really for Gentiles,
No,
and
they actually want Gentiles to celebrate it. I can't remember where I read it, but they're quite firm about Passover being only for Jews, and saying, well, if you have any Gentile, passing Passover with you, you have to circumcise them, But it's like, well, for the other ones, we're really happy if they want to celebrate it with us. And that, I guess, is the motivation behind they're not allowed to have their own festivals because they've got to celebrate ours. But I'm very happy to kick out Christmas. But I know a lot of people will just be, I mean, even the Jews, it's sort of, oh, let's have a Hanukkah tree so we can, be like the Goyim, because our children see all the Christmas trees and all that stuff, and they want it to, and we haven't got the heart not to give it to them, and so we're going to have a Hanukkah tree.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's done too, and giving in. And the thing is that we shouldn't have to feel assaulted, and these monotheists have to realize that they've done a lot wrong, and that it's just inappropriate. It's inappropriate to put a Christmas tree that's about Jesus, who hated pagans, in a public school, because what if pagans are offended? And there are more pagans in America than there are Jews. Okay, like if you rounded up every single last pagan and added them all together, it would be a lot. It
Yeah, but we're kind of trying to show we're going to privilege certain religions over others, aren't we? Okay, I know you haven't settled in your mind about this idolatry thing, but I mean, it must be obvious by now that organized religion, the Abrahamic religions, are just more powerful. I mean,
it but the
is
point
it just because God protects these people, or is there
yeah,
something about
the point
these
is that
religions that make the people who adhere to it more powerful?
in a secular society, the thing is that the secularists and the liberals are not holding to their principles. If you were a hard liberal and believed in hardcore liberalism, not soft liberalism, then you wouldn't allow it. And that's the problem. That
Sorry,
that
I wouldn't allow what?
you wouldn't allow Christmas in schools and in things like that.
Yeah, I suppose with America it's hard to, get rid of the idea that, the early Americans were almost without exception Christians.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, once you adopt secular Quranism with American characteristics, you can start playing around with, the holidays and stuff. But I mean, you still be celebrating the 4th of July and all that. And then you have to explain, like, well, Thanksgiving, well, it's peculiar only to America. And I know the Canadians have a Thanksgiving, but it's on a different day or something weird, right?
Yeah, they have it on a different day.
I think it's called Victoria Day or something. I think John told me that. But I mean the hidden reasons about why some are a proper holiday and why some are not, because officially anyway this country, well, Britain is has an official religion, and it's Anglicanism. So it's officially Christian. But America is sort of like, well, we're still the majority, and that kind of thing. And that, I guess, was why Justice Brewer in the Supreme Court was saying, yes, we are a Christian nation, but we've done weird things with our constitution, to separate, such as separating the church from our state. But we're still a Christian nation, and this was to answer, a question. Sorry, it was something to do with the Church of the Holy Trinity importing an Anglican priest. And apparently that went against the Alien Contract Labour Act. And it annoyed a few people, saying, oh, but you're not supposed to be importing people to America where there are locals capable of doing the job. And so they took the Church of the Holy Trinity, which was Anglican, to court, and I guess the members of the Supreme Court wanted it to be thought that America was a Christian nation. I mean, obviously, it'll be a different decision now, but this is something for Americans to kind of work out and decide and have a think about. I mean, there's just so much for Americans to think about. It just drives me crazy when people just post stupid shit.
Actually, the Jews were really big in America behind. We used to have the Sunday laws here in America, where like a lot of stores had to be shut and a lot of products couldn't be sold on
Oh yes,
Sundays.
it's called Sunday trading laws in the UK, which we
Yes,
used to have.
yes, we used to have Sunday trading laws. Um, yes, we used to have Sunday trading laws here in America, and the Jews were very big in trying to remove that. And at first they were unsuccessful.
But the point is, there is an identity crisis in the West. It's like, actually, the Jews don't know who they are. That they're all, oh, we're Americans and we're still Jews, and we don't believe in God, but we're still Jews. And I think it's really driving everybody crazy. And I think the true situation is that Jews are not really all that clever if they're going to be dying for liberal democracy, because it's sort of stupid to die for a Gentile idea that Gentiles themselves already hate. Because I mean that's what the whole thing in Israel is all about. I mean, Hamas obviously can't stand the fact that, Israel is a liberal democracy, and that's why they're saying you have to live under Sharia, you Jews, you have to live, and then we'll stop killing you, kind of thing. And, maybe some of the Orthodox observant religious Jews are thinking about it, but obviously the secular ones, want to live in Israel as liberal Democrats. And obviously the State Department is pushing, it's basically saying the constitution of the, no, sorry. Israel doesn't have a constitution, it has a parliament, but the Supreme Court can veto acts of parliament. And that was what the demonstrations were about, against the proposals of the religious Jews to reform the Israeli Supreme Court, because they're saying it's stupid. How can we have a Supreme Court that vetoes acts of parliament? So that was so. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that Israel, the Israelis don't know who they are. They think. They think they have a country that is their own, but actually it's an American colony, and America is, basically just telling the Jews to die for liberal democracy, because if the Jews were thinking it through properly, they could have peace in the Middle East with them, with Jews saying, oh well, Islam is a piece of cake, Islam is Judaism light, we don't have a problem living under Sharia, but that's only the religious Jews saying that. I mean, the ones who want to be observant and don't like gay parades in Tel Aviv and that sort of thing. Well, obviously, the secular Jews would be saying things like over our dead body and, die for the right to have gay parades in, Tel Aviv.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's starting to change. Obviously, if there's all these fights going on in Israel and everyone's scared that the Orthodox are going to take over, there's obviously a shift in the balance of power because the liberals haven't been having children. You know what I mean? And, it's just,
And that they want to import Gentiles because they have a labour shortage. Actually, there was an article today about why the hell are we renewing. It's something to do with the Gazans working in Israel again. It's like, yeah, you bombed the crap out of them, and now you still want them to do your work because they have a labor shortage. The lots
so
of
no,
things
there's not, it's not a labor shortage. It's that they're just not willing to go through a period of no growth and just maintain their, okay, America has a labor shortage. Okay, just don't grow your economy right now. Okay, like, don't grow your economy right now. Wait until you can pick up your birth rate naturally, take a generation, and then start picking up your economy with your own population. The thing is that nobody's willing on this earth, at least nobody in the West, no white people are willing to take a break on progress. Like my father doesn't understand. I told him all he does is complain about Chinese products, but then all he does is buy them. And I said, look, if Americans had just been more frugal and decided to, okay, you can't get a fancy table from America because it'll be too expensive. You can get a plain table that is not so fancy and nice and cushy, but it was made in America, and it that way it's not that expensive.
Did you cut off?
just yeah, I'm just saying that don't expect such don't ask for such a nice lifestyle. Wait, don't Americans, they did that to themselves. Who bought all those nice fluffy sofas from China and bought all the clothes from India and needed nice elaborate fans or China's from other countries. I mean, if we had just eat off regular American made plates that aren't fancy, but and maybe pay $1 more, and but they didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sacrifices obviously have to be made, and people are not even prepared to contemplate that or discuss that. It's like, yeah, actually, America would be fine. It's got enough territory to be self sufficient in food and energy. America's okay. It's the sort of stupid little countries in Europe who aren't.
Yeah, America's okay, and then just deal with the labor that you have. Stop expanding, and just let everyone be. We wouldn't be drastically poor. It's not like we would live in horror. I mean, you just like things would be a little bit more expensive, and but at this point, I don't know if it's wages are raising overseas, so maybe it's not that cheap to make things overseas anymore, and maybe people are realizing that giving all this money to China is not a good thing, but it's too little too late. It's too little too late. It should have been taken care of years ago.
Yeah, because nobody thinks in the long term because of these stupid elections. Nobody, no, no one can think beyond the next election because if they think, well, if we didn't win, there's no point thinking thinking ahead, right? I mean, and everything is just sort of kicked down. The can is kicked down the road for the next election or the next generation or whatever. I mean, it's so stupid. Academic Agent, have you heard of him?
Yes.
I mean, he's so dumb. He has a daughter whom he calls AAA, and I thought, well, what plan does this guy have? Because he's supposed to be some sort of thought leader for the British dissident right, and the best he can do is that, well, I'm going to bring up my daughter, and one of these days she'll have grandchildren, and then those grandchildren will overthrow the system. But in the meantime, I don't have to do anything at all. I just keep my nose clean. I don't get into trouble. I don't get demonetized about saying anything radical. And that's his plan. And his dumb followers think that's good enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, this is why I'm saying there's nothing that can be done for them. Start your own little cult and slowly take over the world over 3 or 4 generations, and
No,
don't
I'm
don't.
saying no, no, no. I have a short-term plan, and Americans are a big part of it. Is like you have your election next year, and you have to make sure it's not stolen, and I think if Trump were to promote secular Quranism with American characteristics, he'll win because he will be able to impose a vision of what it's going to be like. At the moment, it's like, oh yeah, I might beheadings, guillotine. It doesn't sound very nice, does it?
Well, they're
So,
not
so I
going.
think you
Yeah, but
should.
nobody believes the
Secular
guillotine.
Quranism is my gift to the American people, and Trump in particular. And you will be the one bearing that gift to your local Republican Party who already know you.
They don't know me that well, and
No, they know you. You can easily schmooze them and remind them what you did for them and stuff.
they're
You're,
not.
you're, you're, you're just ideal for it.
They're not going to listen to a
Okay,
radical
it doesn't matter. They're gonna
fanatical.
laugh and whatever, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna push your idea of one-way helicopter rides and guillotines and What else was it in Vanity Fair or Rolling Stone that we were reading yesterday?
No, just
It's ridiculous.
firing.
He hasn't really got a plan.
He wants to bring back firing squads and guillotines. Just bring back
Okay, he can
guillotines.
have that
Good.
under secular Quranism if he insists, but there has to be a legal and moral political landscape that people can sort of, ooh, yes, we're going to have licensed brothels. That might not be such a bad thing. And the abolition of no fault divorce to keep our women under control. Ooh, remedial clauses in marriageability. One party state, lots of work for the lawyers. Just the sort of thing. Come on, Vincent. Come on, man.
I don't know. I mean, see, I would rather work on projects to do like what's called
You want
spin.
castles in the sky. You want to build castles. Come on.
No, I did want to build
Make your
castles.
parents proud of you.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, my mother wants me to be a fucking Jehovah's Witness, and I don't know what my father wants me to be. I don't think he really has any plans for me, but, I don't think
I
he
have
wants me.
plans for you.
I don't think he wants me to be a secular Quranist.
Have you discussed it with him?
No.
Look, is there anyone who might have a legal background who's interested in politics and complains about the government regularly, who can talk about with some knowledge of American history and founding fathers, and has read the George Washington's farewell speech, somebody like that?
Oh, God. Well, just, just, oh God, no. I mean, you're gonna try too fast, Claire. And I mean, I don't.
All you have to do is ask. They can say no, but then you'll have a kind of conversation going. Okay, maybe it won't happen next year, but you have to start the ball rolling somehow. It's a big idea, and I know the power of it, because people hate it and then they can't stop thinking about it, because I remember Jen Sharf complaining that she can't unthink it. And people come back to me years later. It's like, are you still promoting secular? They obviously haven't forgotten.
Well, I guess just your book. I do promote your book. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I'm not going to. I don't. Well, first of all, I don't know if usury should be banned, Claire. I don't know about
Okay,
that.
you don't know. You're not sure, but you think you like some of the items in the package. I mean, all you have to do is talk about it to more people.
I
And
write about it. I do write. I do promote your book.
well, okay. What you've done with the Jews is quite good. I mean, they know about you, Adam Green, and, you've antagonized them, so they know about you. They are a group, possibly an influential group, and they know of you, and they probably complain about you and whatever. And I think the next group, and you're already known to the Republican Party, and you just need to get in with these Muslims and challenge them a bit. I mean, I'm sure you have a few mosques around you that you can drop in on.
Yes, and spread my secular Quranist
No,
flyers.
I mean, they have open days and things, and they want people to come, and they'll talk to you nicely and whatever. You just need to do a bit of schmoozing, and you can.
I'm not. No, I can't
You're
schmooze.
great at schmoozing.
Are you serious? No, are you kidding me? Everyone tells me that I'm just so. You don't. This guy, you don't follow the code of communication because that's just what they all tell me. Like everyone tries to get me to be more popular by like sugarcoating my message, and I'm not doing that.
Okay, you can sort of not talk about it and listen to what people want and then, calibrate your message accordingly.
No, there's only really one way to say these hard hitting truths, and that's just to say them. And my look, I am not. If I tried to become the mainstream crowd, I would never make it because I just don't have the popularity, and I'm a gay man, and all this other kind of stuff that's against me. And so if I'm radical, at least I get some attention. Milo wouldn't have gotten anywhere as like a gay man, like who's just kind of keeping it cool. He had to be fucked up.
Well, you got something that is, well, workable. It's like, we must never let what happened to our country happen again. It was, assuming Trump wins. All these things you can say, that was terrible, that was such a close shave, it was so horrible. That these people could have permanently controlled our country and made slaves of us and reduced our number. They're actually so lazy that they don't even want to deal with slaves. They prefer robots.
Yeah, of course. Slaves are difficult to deal with, and
They might revolt.
yeah, they might revolt, and who wants to really enslave people, and you know,
Look. You have you have the capability. No, you do have the potential to be a personality. I mean, well, you do. You do.
I'm kind of getting too old to
No, no,
really.
no. You can be a voice of radio, which is kind of easier.
I'm getting a little bit old, Claire. I don't think people want to hear me
No, no, it's
anymore.
nothing to do with your age. You just have to say things that make sense and entertain and make people think. You certainly deserve a radio show, and I think that's what you still should be asking for. And then you
I
no, no,
can't
you
even get my
just
I can't even get my YouTube channel off the ground. If I was to go on a radio, they're going to say, "Well, show us how many hits do you get on your website a day?" You know what I mean? They're going to want to know these kinds of things.
okay. Well, we'll maybe do Odyssey. Oh, I don't know. It's hard to do, okay, so many things at the same time. But the thing is, we already know that our viewers are being suppressed. I think we're all being shadow banned, and we only tweet to ourselves, our little group, and you know. But things can change. We need to kind of shake their cage a bit, shake their tree. And you have access to the Republican Party. And it's not like, oh,
No, I really don't, Claire.
politics is such
I
a.
lost that. I lost that because I don't have the Hindus with me anymore, and I'm no longer working for them. I don't, Hindus don't want anything to do with me. Who's going to listen to me? I don't have.
You
When
don't
I was a
have to.
Hindu,
There must be some Muslims in the Republican Party. You was talking about them yesterday.
well, there's Muslim Republicans, yes, but the thing is, why would they want anything to do with me?
Because you will be a secular Quranist. Come on, Vincent, it's so obvious. Or you can
Well,
say, well, I'm thinking of becoming a secular Quranist. Are you going to ostracize me for promoting it? What's your problem? Don't you want to see Sharia and oh, I don't know. There's so many ways you can move in on them. And you'll have fun.
why aren't you able to do it then if it's so
Because
easy?
I'm not American. Nobody cares what this stupid little offshore island thinks. Nobody
Britain,
cares
Britain
about
is the
what Rishi Sunak thinks. They know he's not going to be around for much longer.
why
Nobody
isn't he going
cares
to be?
what. No, he's going to lose the next election. It's they're already preparing us for Keir Starmer, the Labour Party leader. We're just an offshore island that nobody cares about. I mean, the European. I mean, okay, the biggest countries in Europe would be Germany, and Germany have crap leadership. They're actually destroying their own industry and saying, oh, well, we're just going to move our factories to America, and giving the Americans the benefit of German technology because, oh, the Americans just blew up our gas pipeline. And we're not going to complain. We're just going to accept it and move our industry and factories. You know they have a hole in their heads. All the European leaders, they're just automatons following the orders of America.
Okay, well,
Well, just have
well,
a think. I mean, just talk to someone. I'm sure they'll be nice to you. I mean, you kind of know more about their stuff now. And
nobody's going.
I bet, yeah, weren't you saying that more and more of them are supporting Trump? I mean,
Yeah,
like that Daniel Huckicott Jew. I mean, last election he was saying, yeah. I mean, I don't see a, I can't vote Democrat. We shouldn't see ourselves as these stupid minority parties looking for a handout from the Democrats. We have our principles. We're not going to, you know, tolerate this sort of oil and water coalition having to be nice to gay people and stuff. Yeah, they're conflicted too. I mean, they're supposed to have religious principles, but if you throw secular Quranism into the mix, something will happen. Somebody will read it and challenge you, and you know the stuff well enough to, you know. And what you want out of it is publicity and people talking about your ideas.
um,
I have to
keep.
go at okay, at 7 o'clock. I'm doing the I think the 20th Qurani Yule or something with someone called Ancient Gardener whom I met on Twitter. But I've never spoken to him. But so it'll be fun.
What are you talking
Well,
about?
he has, I would say, nationalist view. I think he's on the right, shall we say? Let me read a few of his tweets. He's probably listening in now. He's got 708 followers. So he says things like, read the classics, learn German, read the scholarship, uplift your brethren, defeat the enemy, save the world.
Yeah, all this rah 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 affirmations.
And I don't think he likes Hispanics.
Yeah, the right has a lot of these like little, they post these memes like read books, exercise, start a family, eat right. Like, okay, like no shit, Sherlock. You know what I mean? Like that's the best.
Yeah,
Like
he
just
says things
like,
like, children should not be watching TV. Love your kids. Sell the TV.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's listening. He's listening.
Oh, he
So that's
is.
good. There's a kind of continuity. He's called Ancient Gardener. He knows about millennial woes. He's retweeted millennial woes talking to Jared Taylor.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we were talking earlier about Elizabeth Glass, and unfortunately, we get a lot of these snowflakes, don't we? I mean, I actually tweeted a few questions at her. Do you want me to read out the tweets? I know you said you didn't want me to talk to her because I might challenge her too much for her comfort, but I just couldn't resist it afterwards.
Yeah, what did she say?
She
What
didn't
did
know.
you ask?
She might have blocked me already. No, I didn't say anything rude. I just asked her a series of questions, like, okay, hold on a minute. No, because she put out a video of her saying, history is written by the victor. We have to tell people, it's all really vague. So I was, just asking her for further and better particulars, and I don't expect to get a response. Because, okay, I know a lot of people who just think, oh, I have this really important message and it's something to do with the Jews. And they haven't even worked it out in their minds yet. But they expect to be taken seriously and listened with, you know, with some attention. And then if you, listen to them carefully, then of course you're going to ask a few questions and then they really resent it.
Yeah, well, fuck them. I mean, yeah, I mean, this thing, like, people are so fucking sensitive. Like, so what if I said that I don't believe that she's gonna get anywhere? So what? Like, you say that about me all the time. People say that about me all the time. I'm not gonna, like, tell them to take down my interview. I mean, Adam
Well, you didn't
Grant.
have to anyway, did you? You didn't have to.
Well, I
Like, it's
did because I didn't want her to, feel hurt. But she's. I
It's such a
mean that.
gentleman. I just say no. It's too bad. It's.
No, she doesn't feel comfortable with it. She doesn't. I told Israeli News Live. I said I'm just not doing any more fucking streams with your guests or you or anything like that because I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with people trying to shut my mouth and censoring me and making me take down videos, because I criticized them. Who the fuck? So what if I criticized you? I said I didn't think your plan was going to work. And I don't know what her problem was with me calling her a Jewess.
Yeah. I mean, there's actually a magazine called the Jewess or something, but apparently, only they can call each other Jewess. I think there was some kind of fashion, I don't know, Jewish woman's magazine or something. Okay. The Jewish Chronicle has an article about it. The use of the word Jewess is a psychological tell. Harmful eccentric Piers Corbyn's language is consistent with a clear and revealing pattern, writes David Aronovich. So I guess he's trying to say that if you use the word Jewess, it means you're anti-Semitic. And I remember reading ages ago, it's like that if if you say Jew, it means you're anti-Semitic. But if you say Jewish, you're probably not, you know, not that hostile towards them. It's that sort of thing. But it's an article about nothing. But I'll put it in the chat for anyone who wants to read it.
Yeah, I didn't know Jewess was a bad word.
No, it's like actress. But oh yes, these days you're not allowed to say actress, right? Because some actress is going to get offended and call you sexist. It's so ridiculous. All this has to stop.
What are you talking about with Gardner?
I don't really know. I'm just kind of letting him talk what he wants to talk about and hopefully asking intelligent questions.
Hopefully, force him. Well, you can't force him, but
I think he's quite interesting. Okay, I can't really remember now because I was on Spaces a lot and then I stopped because of Karani Yule and I've forgotten, who everyone is now. But my memory is that he does say occasionally intelligent and perceptive things. And he has been listening, so I guess we will have something to talk about. So I don't think she got any of my points, and I did call her Jewess, because I said, if you're both an atheist and a Jewess, aren't you a heretic? If you're a believing Jewess, why would you reject the Noahide laws and the notion that Jews are obligated to teach Gentiles the Noahide laws? If you are indeed a heretic, why should any Gentile listen to you? So I guess you didn't like that.
She what? She responded or didn't respond?
No, she hasn't responded at all. There's just this sort of a video of her in this sort of 1.5 minute video, giving us, telling us why we should, share her message, whatever it is. But it's really vague in a kind of womanish way. Complaining about anti-Semitism, and I was saying, well, these Jews, they're kind of perceived to be the ruling classes in the West because they have these extra privileges, and I've also been saying that the Jews, whether they know it or not, whether they want to or not, they have been made the mascot of the Anglo-Saxon Empire. And the British are saying, oh, we sacrifice our empire to protect the Jews. And because we are now so powerless and weak, because we lost our empire, the burden has passed to the Americans. Hooray! And that explains the American presence in Israel and how it is, basically telling what the Israelis ought to do. So I'm saying America owns Israel and America owns the Israeli Supreme Court. That's why it's a secular state. That's why Israel has to be a liberal democracy, because America says so. And that's why, if the Jews were to say, okay, we'll live under Sharia, then it will send such shockwaves throughout the world that America will find itself following Sharia or secular Quranism. I mean, don't you think, Vincent, that's what will happen? Should such a shocking thing happen?
I think Israel is too proud to follow Sharia.
Okay, I know, of course they're saying over our dead bodies and stuff like that, but I'm saying if they did, they did have to say, oh, please, Mr. Biden, President, sir, can we live under Sharia and, end liberal democracy? And they'll probably be told, no, you have to die for liberal democracy. because that's the idea, and then it will become clear who's really in charge of whom. I mean, all the anti-Semites will say, oh, Israel is just a little country, it's controlling us, and I'm saying, oh, no, it's America. America wants to, run Israel. That's why it's paying for all its defense, the Iron Dome, and all that. And of course, all this sort of British Israelism and Anglo Israelism that Herbert Armstrong was promoting. It's all about sending Gentiles to Israel to make them think, oh, we're Jews, really. We're better than the Jews. We're going to live in Israel and protect it and whatever. And then they realised, probably, nobody's interested in doing that. And they thought, well, no, the Jews, will just send the Jews. They want to go and live there. And they have, they think, oh, it's a holy. Some of the religious Jews think, oh, it's not right. All these, gay parades in Tel Aviv, and all the crazy laws that actually stop us from becoming, being good Jews, and breaking the Sabbath and all that. But anyway, I mean, just this conversation will send shockwaves, because I don't think a lot of Jews even know what's happening. I don't think they do. Because, I mean, obviously one side of them wants to think that, they're finally in Israel where in the Holy Land. But it's like, it's not holy. It's a liberal democracy with gay parades in Tel Aviv. Anyway, I have to go, I suppose.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you had me.
Oh, yes, sorry. I don't even know whose dream it is.
Yeah, you're the one who has to stop it.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Fine.
Bye, everyone.